live again this evening. We're going to try and do this here again. Can't make any promises. Actually, I went through this, shared my screen. We should be all good to go now. I'm going to wait for the Fourth Arrow crew to get on here, and then we will get this thing rolling. We are doing a self-film breakdown this evening. Pretty pumped. As you guys know, I mean, deer season is right around the corner. Fired up about that. As the season gets closer and closer, kind of watching some old videos, watching some of the outdoor channel, just getting acclimated with everything, getting into the swing, getting the juices flowing, everything. Hang on one second. Turn that light on. It was a little dim in here. And with that, we want to go through some of our self-filming setups, a little self-film hunt breakdown, just to kind of relay some knowledge. I mean, we've learned through trial and error the hard way many, many times. And we want to give back as much as possible. Trial and error the hard way many, many times. And we want to give back. Anyway, yeah, like I said, we've learned the hard way many times. We just, through trial and error, want to give back in any way possible. If one of our mistakes can limit one of your mistakes and give you that edge on a big buck that you're after, and you can capture it on film, all the better. So let me just make sure we're good to go here on the Fourth Arrow end. And we'll get them guys rolling. And we'll get ourselves rolling, and we should be all good to go. So what I want to do here, if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, anything, please drop us a line in the comments section. We are going to be taking questions this whole live, trying to answer questions, relay some feedback. We will have prizes at the end of this live video for the best question, comment, whatever the case may be. I'm going to decide it. We appreciate you. I kind of wanted to go back through and roll through some of the questions from last night, because there was actually some good questions that we were going through as we were having our technical difficulties, and wanted to just touch on that for the people that are back for tonight and wanted those questions answered. So, Richie, what's going on, man? Dude, we have Camp Cutlet. Oh, Camp Wall Hanger. I love it. David, we appreciate it, brother. We appreciate you guys following along. Appreciate you watching. Guys, if you're on this live video right now, all you got to do to get thrown into the giveaway at the end is share this video and write a comment, ask a question. The best comment or question will win something from Fourth Arrow at the end of this video. So if you guys would share away and let everybody know that we're on here. Like I said, we're going to be doing a self-film hunt breakdown, a hunt that with Dino earlier last year. Actually, it was November 6th of last year. It was a buck that we called Neil, and we were literally in the middle of our rut week, what we call our rut week, where myself, Dean, my dad, Uncle Jay, we're all at camp for an extended period of time, usually about a week, 10 days. And it's just a time for us to kind of get back to our roots, for us to, all hunt together, enjoy the time together, and do what we love to do. And typically our rut week is not, I mean, not that it's not exciting, or not that it's not like that there's not any action going on, but for whatever reason, during our rut week, we've had a rough time shooting bucks throughout that time period, throughout that week or whatever. And this past year, we got 2 of them during rut week. Uncle Jay got one the second day that we were there, and Dean got one on November 6th. So today, we're going to go through the hunt of Dino shooting the buck we called Neil, one of our target bucks for November 6th. Like I said, I had to go back through some of the questions from yesterday, some of the questions from actually specifically from the Fourth Arrow page and on the feed that they had going on their page as well. So what the first question was from Isaiah. My question would be, how high would you recommend setting up your camera arm while in a ladder stand or a lock on? Great question. It's it kind of depends on the tree. Now, if you're in a ladder stand where you're sitting down and there's a rail, that may have a little bit of a differentiating factor on it. What I like to do typically, like if I'm self filming, I'm usually in a hang on, or what Isaiah said as a lock on. And the reason I do that, I like to do that, is just because I like to have the mobility around me. Lock ons, you can typically stick into, in between branches or in a tree that splits to give you a little bit more cover, so you as the hunter and the self filmer can move around a little bit and get in position, not only with yourself to get in position for a shot, but also getting the camera in position for a shot. But back to the question, I typically like to set my camera arm up right at hip level, because that allows me, if you set the bracket of the camera arm up at hip level, naturally, based on putting the camera arm in and then having a fluid head on the actual camera arm, you're going to have a little bit of height above your actual hip level to set that camera up. So the camera is actually going to be a little bit above hip level. You don't want it much higher than that, because if it gets too much higher than that, then it starts to obstruct your view of the actual camera arm. So moving the camera arm around is very critical to getting something on film. If you're moving the camera arm around and you can't see that viewfinder, obviously now you're fighting not only getting a shot with your bow or your gun, but you're also fighting the fact that you can't even get the animal on camera. So I typically like to start at hip level and kind of work from there. Whether it's a ladder stand or a lock-on stand, no matter what, that's typically where I start, just because it gives me the most comfortability. I like the camera arm set up. I'm a right-handed shooter, so I like the camera arm set up on my right hand, my bow hanging over my left, so that I can literally easily access both, and it allows me to be the most efficient while filming and trying to hunt at the same time. So anybody that's just joined us, we are going to do a giveaway at the end of this live. If you wouldn't mind sharing this video, you will be entered into the live. Also, any energetic and entertaining comments, questions, whatever, in the comments section will be put in a drawing for some fourth arrow swag at the end of this. So this is what we're going to do. Just a couple more questions on here. Just got my new PSE. Sucker is mint. Deer are in trouble. Aaron, good luck this year. Corey, what's up? What's one thing you wish you knew back when you were starting out that you now know about self-filming? Honestly, I think that one of the biggest, that's a great question, actually. That's a great question. I think one of the biggest things for me, that I put way too much pressure on getting the actual kill on film, like on the main camera. Now with our second angles and the way that we do things and stuff, with multiple different angles in a tree, I typically try and set myself up to almost to where there's no room for error. So if I have a camera over my right shoulder, facing, basically the whole left side of my shooting area, and then have one over my left shoulder facing the opposite way, it kind of creates a foolproof system to where if it's crazy, especially during the rut, and case in point, you will see this happen on this hunt that we are about to show you. If you can't get that main camera in view or on that animal, like, you owe it to yourself to still be able to take a shot. And if you have second angles going, then you can still take that shot and capture the moment on film. It doesn't necessarily have to be perfect National Geographic footage from your main camera. So that would probably be my biggest piece of advice if I had to go back and do it, is don't put so much pressure on that, and utilize your second angles to your advantage. And also, you can't be afraid to fail. Don't give up the camera, because when you give up the camera, that's when you're going to get your opportunity. So if you're serious about self-filming, if you're serious about getting things on film, then you got to commit yourself to that and not give up the camera at all. Great question. Who was that? Corey? Fantastic question. Aaron got some dirt naps. Heck yeah. Our best week is always early November. That's what's up, Richie. Laura, what is going on? Nathan, we use Final Cut Pro for our editing programs. Let's see here. When self-filming, a shooter walks in, what's the best way to know he's going to be in frame of your camera when you're at full draw? Okay, Jacob, this is a great question. And this is another thing that I think we can focus on from our beginning stages is number one, when that deer's coming in and you're trying to get pre-footage of him, it's fine to zoom in tight to that deer and make him fill up the full screen. That's totally fine. But when you are about to take that shot, or when you know that he's coming into an opening and you're going to have to go to full draw, you've got to zoom out at least a little bit to give that deer a little bit of room for error, not necessarily error, but a little bit of room to move in your viewfinder. So if a deer's coming in from my left and I'm filming them, I got my bow in hand, I got my remote, I'm zoomed in on him, great footage of him coming down a trail right at me, and then all of a sudden he takes a left and he starts coming broadside out in front of me. I'm going to zoom out, maybe not all the way, maybe I will do it all the way, but I'm going to zoom out enough to where my viewfinder is taking up a solid portion of my shooting lane and or shooting lanes in front of me. And I'm going to leave the camera there because now I have to take the time to draw. I might have to stop him in order to get that deer on film and get him shot. Like, you need a little bit of a range for error. So if he's moving to the left, or if he's moving to the right, if the deer is moving to the right in the screen, you need to keep the deer in the left side of your viewfinder as he's moving. If he's moving to the left, you keep him in the right side of the viewfinder. So basically, you keep the deer's butt on the far side of the viewfinder. So wherever he's walking, he's got a majority of the space in the viewfinder to go. That way, once again, if you put your camera, set it still, you have time to draw your bow. Even if he takes a couple steps out of that lane, hopefully he's on the opposite side of the viewfinder now. You still have him on camera. You can let it rip, and all is good. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. When you're got that one. One bite, everybody knows the rules. Can't wait till season. Find that deer. Heck yeah, man. Good luck, Michael. How are you recording your B-rolls after hunting or during walking in? So Select Hunts on YouTube asked, how are you recording your B-roll? Honestly, we record our B-roll all when the whole hunt is happening. I do not like to recreate anything if I don't have to, because when you recreate something, you can tell that it's recreated. That's pretty much it. So I film myself walking in, do an interview in the stand, get some shots of my bow in the stand, because that specific day looks like that specific day. Tomorrow it could be raining. Today could be sunny. A week from now, the leaves could be off the trees and whatever. Right now, it's completely different. So I try to collect as much B-roll as I can. We utilize GoPros. I usually take a DSLR with me in the woods as well, and just try and utilize as many cameras as we can, collect shots while the hunt is going on. And then, as I said, those second angles are a huge part of the B-roll part of the hunt, because now if I'm editing, I got the camera rolling, deer's coming in, I got the second angle or two rolling as the deer's coming in, and now I can flip from the main camera angle to this second angle to this second angle every couple seconds, and your eyes are always busy. So literally the same scene that is happening at the exact same time is shot from three different angles, and when I edit it, it looks like three different things are going on at once, but your mind doesn't know the difference. Your eyes are just telling you that things are keeping you busy on the screen, and it's keeping your attention that way. Randall, what's going on? Hope all is well with you as well. Chris, what is up? All right, you guys, we are going to get into this. Let me make sure. Let's see what we got going on here. If there's anything on the fourth arrow page that I may have missed. So what we're going to do here, like I said, we're going to show a hunt that Dino, we were all on last November. I'm going to share my screen here. Keep the comments rolling in. Best comment is going to win. a gift card from Fourth Arrow at the end of this live. So all you got to do is share this video along with leaving us some great comments, and we'll get back after it. All right, here we go. Share your screen, Chrome tab. Big buck chases a doe. Heck yeah, we are on the money. Y'all can see my screen. Give me a hands up or a nux or something if you could see my screen. If you could see Dino, November 6, 2021, New York on your screen, give me some nux. Give me some nux or some thumbs up. Let me know you can see it, and we will get ready to roll. Bah, bah, bah. All right, it looks like we can see this thing, so we're going to just get rolling. We're going to get rolling here. All right, here we go. So this is a perfect example of the second angles. Let's get back to it. This is a perfect example. I appreciate you guys all chiming in. This is a perfect example of a second angle setup that is literally money in the bank. You could see Dean. You could see the tree arm right at hip level. You can actually see he's using the 2.0 base and shoulder with the stiff arm. Stiff arm is actually turned into one of my favorite arms last year just because of the durability. And in this specific tree, it is way back. I'm talking way back. It is a serious hike into this place. And so we leave a bracket and a shoulder in there so that we don't have to carry as much stuff in there. Anyway, this second angle is money. Look at Dean. Like, Dean can easily turn the camera, do his interview, doesn't have to turn his main camera up to do the interview. You can literally see a majority of his shooting right in front of him. So you can see all the action from the second angle, along with being able to see what he's got to do in order to get ready for a shot. So without further ado, let's play this bad boy.
Clear bluebird day, so it might be a little
Beautiful November day, crisp morning. Doesn't it make you just want to be here? Another second angle. It gets the right side of his setup. Another two more of his shooting lanes off that way. This is a money self-filming setup.
My photos don't camp, but when I got on the stand, I realized that Neil was on his camera for like he was like 4 different times within an hour and a half.
This is just Dino kind of talking through what's going on. This is Neil, the buck that he is hunting, that was literally 30 yards from his spot all morning during the dark on this day.
On my way in, there was really no way around that, but hopefully it wasn't him.
Once again, if you guys have any questions, comments, send them our way.
I could hear him coming.
We'll do a Q&A after the fact. All right, let's fast forward through this. So this is another self-filming setup. This is my dad, same day. We do more of a video blog style hunt, so we flash back and forth between, you know, each hunter that's in the woods on those given days. So let me pause this real quick. I apologize. I know everybody's excited to watch. This tree is tough because this tree is just one big tree. It's tough to get second angles in there. So my dad actually has a GoPro on a Fourth Arrow outreach arm. It's just one of those kind of like a Cranford mount that you screw into the tree. You can screw the GoPro right on top of it and stick it in the tree. He's got this one up over his right over his right shoulder. Once again, you can see he's got plenty of shooting lanes in front of him to be able to make something happen when something does actually happen.
Searching or moving towards the toe, and he's on.
You guys can hear the audio on the actual hunt, right? Give me a thumbs up. You hear that audio on the actual hunt?
16 total deer got called out for
Actually about to heat up.
And in the morning, and probably still in the evening. So I'll talk to Jason.
Sweet. Thanks, Donald. Appreciate you.
Maybe after dinner. That was a good walk over there. Absolutely beautiful November morning, November 6th.
Doesn't that just jack you up? Don't you just want to be in the tree right now? All right, this is back to Dino's tree. He had bucks all over him this particular morning. But look at that. I mean, the second angle is money. You can see the deer far in the background walking right in front of him. But this setup is just money for self-filming setup. As hard as self-filming is during the rut, this makes it so easy. You can see if the deer's in front of him right now, all he's got to do is do a little reach to his left, grab his bow, and he'll be ready to go. And you can see the deer far off in the background making his move. I think Dean had like 4 doe come through prior to that, right on that same trail, and this little buck was just curious and trying to figure it out, looking for love, I guess. You guys got any questions or anything about the setup, about what Dean's doing, about how he's approaching this situation? Please fire away in the comments section below. Our flash again. This is to Uncle Jay sitting in a blind. This is a buck we call Cherry Bomb. Big deer. Big mature New York 8-point. And Uncle Jay's sitting in a blind right here.
All right, y'all, I'm back. Camp Cutlet, November 6th. Afternoon, I'm going to hang and hunt far into the bottom. Got the sticks, got the stand, got my self-filming equipment, and I'm going to hang and bang in the deep forest on a path that I hunted a bunch last year and had a lot of great encounters.
So guys, I'm going to stop this real quick. I'm literally getting back up to camp. I had a wedding the night before, but I'm getting back up to camp. It's late morning, and I was literally going to bring a stand, sticks, all my filming gear, my bow, and everything in with me to go do a hang and hunt. That's not possible without the 4th Arrow gear. Like, it's just not. It's not possible to go into the woods, carry all that stuff with you, along with a packable stand and sticks, and be effective at all. So once again, I mean, this 4th Arrow gear is just amazing in the versatility that it allows you to do as a hunter. And Donald, Aaron, and Select Hunts, I see all of your questions. We will answer those questions as soon as
Actually encounters and past 2 of the bucks that we're after right now. So I'm gonna get back in there, hang the stand. Probably I'm gonna try and get in and hung, set up by 1, maybe a little after 1 o'clock. I'll have close to 6 hours to sit back there. It's a beautiful day, still a little cool in the 40s, but bluebird day, high pressure, and let's roll.
You can see, guys, I'm not very high here. I mean, that's 10, maybe 12 feet off the ground. If I have cover, I'm comfortable hunting 6, 8 feet off the ground. I'm totally fine with that. This is a pretty cool encounter right here. Another buck. This buck we called Hefky. He was, I don't know if he was 2 or 3 years old, but he thought he was the dominant buck in the area for a while. Watch him snortleys right here. Making a scrape. There had to be some does, some other does and stuff in the area that Dean was watching. But you can see this is the other second angle that he has, and it's just nice to be able to flash back and forth to that as he's moving the camera around, as these deer are coming through, and just to be able to show those different angles to kind of keep your eyes and everything guessing. I mean, if this was a deer that Dean was going to shoot, now he's kind of working on the backside of his tree, but you can see that he's capturing the whole moment. You know, with his second angles. Donald, we'll typically run 3 cameras at once, 2 second angle cameras, usually over each side, or if I can, I'll face one towards me if possible. You could use the outreach arm from Fourth Arrow to do that, but bare minimum 3 cameras at once, including the main camera. And you'll see why why the second angles are as important as the main camera itself. You'll see why in this hunt. Chris, I completely agree. Completely agree, man. I actually am more comfortable being lower. The only disadvantage at being lower is your wind. You know, if you're in a bottom or if your wind is whirling at all, like that's your disadvantage. But I mean, that is literally your only disadvantage at being lower. I personally am more comfortable being lower to the ground rather than way up high because, you know, your shot angles change drastically when you get way up, you know, in a tree, 25, 30 feet up in a tree. And you can see this is just, you know, middle of the rut. Things are going wild and crazy. Guys, keep the comments coming. Keep them coming. Okay, this is it. Completely agreed, Donald. If you play the wind, you're gravy. So this is Neil. Here he comes. There had to be a hot doe in the area. There was multiple bucks running around, going crazy, and you can see he snort wheezed right there too. This is just a mature New York 8-point. And you could see, I mean, this thing's coming right down the path. You know, I don't think we flashed to the second angle here just because he had the deer in such good footage. But in the second angle, you could see him coming right down this path, right at him. I mean, literally right at him. And this is where the rut gets tough and self-filming gets tough. Dean was already drawn. He moved the tree arm with his bow as it was drawn. This deer goes into this thick stuff right here. And then he starts coming right back at the tree again. I mean, perks of being right in the middle of the rut. Now, because Dean's using the Fourth Arrow camera arm, he's able to get on him, actually swing the camera around the tree as far as he can. The second angle is still telling the story, and that's as far as the camera will go based on that there's a tree right next to him. He's got no more room to move. But the second angle allows you to see the deer, Dean to draw, and then he shoots. Unfortunately, like I said, the deer was off camera, but the second angle told the story. And if he doesn't have that second angle there, it's kind of all a moot point at that point. You know, the craziness of self-filming and
Please God.
everything, yeah, it's just, I mean, nuts. You can hear look at the other deer right by his bow handle in the background. There's deer all over him. So the way that he's able to move that camera around and still be able to get a shot is pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible.
I think I just killed him. Please God. Oh my gosh.
Guys, keep the comments and the questions coming. We're going to roll through all these as soon as this hunt's over with.
I was wrapping up. Everything was just in the bag. I had a buck we call Hefty, chase a doe, and then a Neil.
guys, I forgot to mention that before Dean finishes up. This is about 1:30 in the afternoon. Dean is packed and ready to get down to get out for a quick lunch. He's got his camera, his tree arm, and everything in the bag. The fact that he was able to get that reset up while Neil was in front of him is only because we had that bracket, the fourth arrow bracket, on the tree. And you can buy multiple brackets at fourth arrow to put on the tree or on a couple. If you only got a couple trees in the woods that you hunt, you can get 3 or 4 different brackets, put them on all the different tree stands that you have. That way, when you go in there, you can literally slide the tree arm on and you're ready to go. That is the only reason Dean was able to even get this on film, because he literally had everything packed up and in the bag, and Neil ran in chasing a doe. Carry on.
Oh, come from the opposite direction, chase the doe by me. I got the main camera as quick as I could. He did a whole circle around the tree. I got drawn 2 or 3 times. If anything, the shot was a touch high, but it looked really good. I didn't hear him crash.
So cool watching this. Yeah, Jimmy, it's money. When you can have multiple brackets in a tree and it's a quick and easy setup, it's also a lot quieter that way. No ratchets going in the tree when you get in and out.
Dean called me. Hey, you saw a tree. What's going on? Hey, I just... No, you did not. I don't feel anything. I got my camera. You were freaking going everywhere. I told myself I'm not giving up the deer, just killing them. But I thought freaking...
Guys, this is another perk of the second angles too. We literally have cameras on us at all times. So when I have Dean calling me, the first thing I do is flip on my GoPro, and it allows us to have this conversation with you.
I wouldn't come out. I would let me come to you.
Yeah.
No, Corey, there is not.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
There is not.
Wow, man. Dean just shot Neil. Man, my heart's pounding right now.
No better conversation to have, no better time to do it. And that made a quick hunt for me, because I was in and out. I was in and out of the stand. I was going to do a recovery, and I was happy to be doing it. I got my stand hung up, and so I was ready to go for the next day. But we don't take moments like this for granted, and certainly do not shy away from celebrating, especially when you work so hard. You can see he got blood right on impact, so that's gravy.
There's blood on impact.
I didn't even remember I said that.
So we're going.
All right, you guys, I'm going to fast forward to the actual recovery. Portion of this. I mean, what a beautiful day, right?
I mean, you can't really see the way, though.
No, I can't.
That is what it's all about, Michael. You're exactly right.
You
You are exactly right.
The high point. Well, it's been, I don't even know what time it is at this point. It's been a little over an hour. Probably maybe more than that. Got an arrow.
These
It
moments,
was a crazy
these are the
hunt.
moments you
Actually
live
off
for.
camera,
I mean,
which
what is better?
obviously stings for the viewer, but also it's our tool to watch our shot. So from what I saw, it looked like my shot was perfect. That's what I thought, but I didn't hear him crash, and I can't review it on film, obviously. So Davies got back to me. We're gonna just ease it, maybe 40, 50 yards, see what the blood looks like, and make a decision if we need to back out or give it more time. But based on my shot, I think, I don't know, it seems like
Yeah,
I would
Jimmy, I'd
either
use
shoulder or he's gonna be dead. So
a shorter one, but it's a selfie
And
stick.
my arrow went in deep, so I think he's gonna be dead.
Chris, I love that setup. That's the exact setup that Dean was just using. The durability of that stiff arm is unmatched. I love it. You can't go wrong with that setup. These are the, I don't know. This is the fun part. Tracking this deer, you know, Dean makes the shot. I'm confident that he's down just based on the way he's talking to me. He was second guessing a little bit. We had some good blood right away, and I knew it was just a matter of time before we walked up on this deer. And you can't beat moments like these. You just can't.
No way. Where is he? White guy right there. Oh my God, dude, we got him. Thank you, Lord. Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
It's always a good thing when you see that white belly shining.
No way, man.
That sun hitting it, it's like...
I see that Neil beam.
There's nothing better.
Thank you, Lord.
Isn't it awesome,
Thank you,
Donald?
Lord.
I mean, you can't
Yes.
beat that feeling. It brings you right back to tracking your own deer.
No way.
You know, just having
I
your own
smoke.
moments like this. It's just, it's unbelievable.
Look at the size of that deer.
We were relatively
Look at the
reserved
size of
today,
that
Michael.
Oh my gosh. Wow. What an animal. Passed him up last year. Oh my God.
You guys don't forget
Oh, yeah,
to
he
share
was
this
toast.
video for a chance to add some fourth arrow deer later in the live. Keep sending them comments.
What a
our
cool
way.
buck. What a cool buck. That- That's the Neil rack. Tight. But this is a mature buck. Wow. Incredible.
Oh, the memories couldn't be better.
Incredible.
Couldn't be better.
I mean, it's crazy. I don't even know what to say right now. I don't even know what to say right now.
Look at the beams on that thing.
This
How they
buck
just go,
looked
whoop.
big body last year. He was tearing stuff up. He didn't grow a ton, but big mature buck. Wow. I can't believe it. We got him.
It's almost
Look
a
at that
bittersweet
thing.
feeling when you watch a deer. I mean, we watched this deer for
Unreal.
3 years.
We were just
Passed him
talking
up.
2 nights ago. I haven't fired an arrow. Well, sorry, I haven't killed a buck with my bow in New York in like 8 years. But it's because we put so much heart and soul into managing them and letting 2 and 3 year old bucks go. Doesn't, age over inches on this property. That's what we're about. I mean, this isn't a giant rack buck, but he's at least 4 years old. He's a stud, big body. And he was rutting the doe. I mean, he's been rutting this area. This has been his turf.
Sure has.
So it'll be crazy to see what happens now. But I was about to get out of the tree. It was noon. I didn't pack a sandwich today. I was getting out. Everything was wrapped up. And Hefty, a buck that's a resident around here, kept me in the tree for an extra 20 minutes because he chased the doe by me. And then this joker showed up, and I think this was the deer that was around me this morning that just never committed. I never even saw him. But he's ours now. He's dead. Guys, I'm like cloud 9 right now. You can't put into words just as passionate as we are about managing deer and just letting them grow. It's not about shooting giant rack bucks. It's just practicing conservation and managing deer and watching them grow. That's part of the fun of it. Running trail cameras, doing all this stuff, and when you can piece together a story on a buck like this and watch him for 3 years on a heavily hunted area in your own property in Western New York.
Jimmy,
I
great
don't know.
question.
It doesn't get any better than this. I wouldn't trade it for anything else. This is an awesome 5-year-old buck. We've been watching him. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. This is good stuff. You can't beat it. Got my brother to come back, and Dave's back here. Help me find him. Somehow you and I, it's always a start and finish together. But Just wouldn't trade it for anything else. This is too good. And just a gorgeous bluebird November 6th fall day. I mean, we've had crappy weather all week, and it just, I don't know, today's beautiful. This hunt was out of control.
You can't, I got
This whole day was out of control. I'm speechless. Can't beat it. Can't beat Ian Bow Hunter.
That day, that crisp November, you just can't beat it. It's unbelievable. And now we're headed back to, as you can tell, we keep the cameras running at all times. Struggling, succeeding, celebrating, whatever. The cameras are rolling. Now we're going back to camp to celebrate. That's the best part. Celebration with the Coogies. Let the rest of this play out, and then we'll do a little Q&A here as we finish up with this.
Parade, baby. Friggin' parade.
Chris, another phenomenal question, and I will answer that as soon as we're done here too.
Neil's in the house.
I did not get a text sent back there for
The celebratory. I don't know.
I drew on him 3 times. 3 times. And the first time he's right on camera, right in front of me at like 12 yards. And he's coming at an angle, chasing the doe. And I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna get by me and the viewfinder. I'm like, right, stop him. He like stops quartering to me, and as soon as he stops, he goes like this and starts sniffing the ground, dead away from me. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. He just stood there like this. And then he ran into the beech trees right after that. And I'm like, let down, range the next lane, 30 yards. I draw again. And then all of a sudden I look and he's circling back out. He's coming underneath the stand. Let down again because my pin's all jacked up. Got the camera on, I follow him. He's in the wide open at like 8 yards. You'll see it. That's where I got him on the camera. I'm trying to go around my tree right here. I got a tree right in front of me where the camera's at. He gets the, I have no more room to go. So I zoomed out as much as I could. I go around the tree with my bow, I just draw, and then he takes a hard right and comes like 15 yards to my boot tracks, and he's smelling my boot tracks. He like left the doe for a second. She went that way, and he hooked, and it's just all like beech trees and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if he's in the lens, but if he takes a step, I'm killing him. And I stop him. He stops right behind the tree. Vitals, all behind a tree. And I had like a 6-inch window. His next step. And I'm like, if he just takes one step, I'm just letting it fly, and he just goes like this, and I was just let it rip, and I'm like, smoked him.
Wow. Let's
It's all
go.
surreal. It's just, this sport is so crazy, but it honestly, it still hasn't hit me yet. But some of the coolest times we've been able to do this here, for whatever reason, you know, we're not in the woods at night, we're just enjoying the sunset at camp, you know, over a celebration of success and just hard work. It's just, you can't beat that with a day finishing out like today. You know, I told David to go get in the tree, but he was like, no, we don't get to do this a lot. And he is dead right about that, because we don't. Because when you put this much time and work into a property, like we've talked about, in such a hard state like New York to hunt, you know, as many deer as you let go and as much as you work the process, it doesn't always work out the way you want it to, you know. Deer get shot, you run into so many challenges and so many things along the way, but for it to work out like this, and just to be able to watch a deer form some history with a deer for three years, I don't know. I can't say enough. It's just starting to hit me, but this sport is just all about the chase for me, at least. It's not about the huge rack and all this stuff. It's just about the chase. Dave and I, we just put so much work in, and I just said, God, if I put the time in, if I put the work in, meet me halfway. Ben Rising just said this yesterday in one of his videos. I thought that was really cool. But you have faith, believe that the path is set for you, and everything happens for a reason, and work your tail off, and good things happen. But it's just, I can't wait to just keep celebrating this. It's what a day. November 6th. My bow tag is punched, first time in a while.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let's get a hell yeah. Guys, that was awesome, man. That gave me chills watching back through that. I have not honestly watched that hunt since last season, and it does. It gives me chills of all the hard work that we put in, the time and effort this time of year throughout the summer, springtime, even the wintertime after the season, making sure that the property's right, that, our equipment's right, and this and that. And it's pretty cool to be able to do that. And it's even cooler to be able to share moments like that with you guys right now. I mean, that's what does it for us. And that's why we film. And that's why our Fourth Arrow gear is so important to us, because we wouldn't be able to do this. We wouldn't be able to share it like this without that equipment. And the fact that we can sit here on a live video on social media and go back and watch that hunt and relive some of the memories that we've gone through. I want to relive some of the memories that y'all are going through too. So I just, it's so cool to be able to do that, to be able to experience it. Even for me, having been there, going through and watching that again right now is just, it's kind of chilling to me. And some of the things that Dean, says is pretty cool. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys all watching. I appreciate you guys taking the time. I do want to get to some of these questions. There was some great questions. So let me kind of go back through. I think, Aaron, we talked a little bit about your question. You said, how high do you hang your stands? And typically I take what the land or the tree gives me. I run an XOP setup. And so I'm typically only 4 sticks, maybe 5 sticks. So, I mean, anywhere from 12 to 18 feet. I'm afraid of heights. I'll admit it. I'm afraid of heights. So I don't like getting way up there. And if I do get way up there and I get buckled in, I can get comfortable. But I'm not in my element when I'm hunting that high. And I don't think you need to be. I really don't. I mean, we do a lot of work and produce Ben Rising show with Whitetail Edge. That guy if you watch his Kansas hunt that we just launched this past week, he's 6 feet off the ground. He's got a giant 170 plus inch deer come into 25 yards, 6 feet off the ground in a cedar tree. The tree's got to be like this big around. But if you have cover and you allow yourself to get into that cover, it's almost more effective because the deer are going to see movement. If they smell you, it's one thing. You got to play the wind, obviously. But if they see you, it's because of your movement. I almost promise you that. So if you can stay concealed, if you can stay covered within the tree that you're in, I think personally it gives you an advantage, especially self-filming when there's no doubt that you are going to have to move in some degree before you get the shot. So Select Hunts on YouTube said, should your main camera be capturing the deer always, or should your main camera that is capturing the deer always be on the side of your dominant hand? So it's kind of tough. If you're a lefty bow shooter, it's a little bit tougher because if you do it and you have the camera on your left side, normally on most cameras, the screen is on the left side of the camera. So the screen is actually going to be on the opposite side of the camera to you. Being a right-handed shooter, I like the camera in my right hand. That way I can have my bow or gun or whatever weapon of choice I have in my left at all times. I can be controlling both and I can be ready for a shot. How many cameras are you running at once? We kind of covered this a little bit. At least 2 cameras. Most of the time 3, and sometimes 4, just depending on the scenario. I'll like if I have 4 cameras, I'll have them set up in the tree. I may not have them all running at once, but I at least have the opportunity to turn them on when the opportunity presents itself. All right. Guys, these are great questions. Let's see, Logan, I've seen all your videos. Ken did show me your brother's monster you got a couple years ago. And the mystery buck, if you're talking about the one up in New York, I did not ever see that buck again, unfortunately. I'm hoping to run into him this year, but I did not ever see him again. Lengthwise, what do you all prefer in the 4th Arrow series? So I guess if you're talking about the length of the tree arm, as I said before, I mean, we've used every single tree arm that 4th Arrow has. Their new ghost arm might be my favorite, especially for run and gun hunting because it's so light and it's the longest arm that they got. I did really like the old carbon arm that they had because of the length of that. You get a little bit more length out of it. But as far as length goes, I mean, once again, it's kind of tree dependent or setup dependent. I kind of rely on, what setup I'm going to. If I'm running and gunning, I'm going to take the lightest tree arm I got. And that's just, I roll with it and I make it work. All right, let's see here. Is there a better combo to have? No, there's definitely not. Stiff arm is a great setup, so you're all good there. Let's see here. I started running my secondary cameras hooked to a power pack so I can keep them on all the time. Do you all do this, or do you just use a remote to turn them on and off? So a lot of guys use a remote. I typically don't because a lot of the remotes have to be hooked up to Wi-Fi or they have to be hooked up to your cell phone, which drains battery. Jimmy, I do the same thing. I bring a portable charging pack. I thought I had one. Right here, but I don't. I bring a portable charging pack that I can plug my GoPros in whenever I need to. I charge it at night. It usually has 6 recharges throughout the day. So for all day sits, it's a must. I also bought extra GoPro batteries. I'll have those charged. So along with the 2 or 3 GoPros I have in my pack, I'll have another battery or 2 for each one, along with my battery pack. So really, there should be no running out of batteries, at least in my setup. But especially when it gets colder with the GoPros, you at least have to have extra batteries or a charging pack. Otherwise, I guarantee you, your GoPros are going to run out of battery. That's just, when it gets too cold, they can't hold up. I'm running a big camera and a GoPro this year. Should the GoPro go over my right shoulder or facing me? Chris, that honestly depends on your setup. If you have the option for it to face you and you are confident that you can get the shot in front of you on camera, I love having it face me because it essentially makes you feel like you're literally in the tree with whoever's hunting. But if that opportunity doesn't present itself, like if you're just on a solo tree, there's no other smaller trees around where you can put another second angle on, then I typically will have it over my right shoulder, because when I'm turning around to grab the camera, that's an easy chance to just turn the second angle on, grab the camera. I know this angle's on. It's got me covered, and I'm filming as much as I can with the main angle, and I'm going to let the rest take care of itself. All right, let's see here, guys. These are great questions. I really appreciate it. Can't wait for this year's hunts. I go back and watch my daughters first. It's amazing. The fact of filming is just unbelievable, and it brings everybody into your hunt. You're not just telling stories anymore. You're showing stories, and I just love that aspect of it. Have you guys hunted and filmed from the ground? Any input on ground setups? Yes. So that's a great question. And 4th Arrow has some great gear for that as well. They have a couple brackets that set up to either, if you're on the ground in like a redneck blind, they set up right on the shelf. If you're on the ground in a pop-up blind, they set up right in the front bracket of the tree, or of the actual ground blind. But if you're using a tripod, you got to get the 4th Arrow Rex arm. it allows you, it's a smaller arm, and it allows you the mobility with the tripod to now you can move around the camera literally 360 degrees without having to move that tripod, and you can always see the viewfinder. So if you're hunting on the ground, you've got to get a Fourth Arrow Rex arm to run off of your tripod. It is a must-have in a ground blind or an elevated blind for that matter, because a lot of times in an elevated blind, you're shooting and filming out of two different windows. So you got to be able to maneuver that camera one way or the other, and then maneuver yourself one way or the other to get a clean shot. Hopefully that answers your question. I killed a doe last year 6 foot off the ground. That's amazing. I am a left-handed and I don't mind using my right hand for recording. Well, that's good, Donald. I mean, if you can do it, all the better. Honestly, if you do that, I would recommend hanging your bow up a little bit higher over the camera so that your bow and your camera are on the same side. That way you're on the camera with your right hand, grab the bow with your right hand, pull back, and let it rip. What do you use for editing film, Jason? We use Final Cut Pro 10. It is an Apple software for editing. Aaron, you just asked the same question. For video while you are on the ground with a buck, do you shoot footage with the camera close to the ground pointed? So Jimmy, I guess I don't really fully understand your question. So for while you're on the ground with a buck, do you shoot the footage with the camera close to the ground pointed kind of up rather than straight on? I gotcha. So you're talking about actually filming like the hero interview portion. So for that, we have a DSLR camera that I have a wide angle lens on it. I love it. I do like to get a little bit lower. I think it shows the deer a little bit better that way, and kind of have an upward angle showing the trees, showing the sky in the background. It creates a little bit of that contrast with the sky and the deer. You can see everything a little bit better rather than just like standing over the person and like looking down on them and your background is literally just the leaves. Like, create a background for yourself, get down a little bit, so now the landscape behind whoever the hunter is the background, and it's just a little bit more visual that way. Any other questions or anything? Guys, we are going to be giving away a Fourth Arrow gift card to you all. Best comment will win the gift card. So you got any comments or questions, holler at me. I'm trying to go through here and see what question I like the best. Guys, there was a ton of good questions. And like I said, I appreciate you all being on here and hanging out with us. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate you guys all being on here, hanging out. This is why we do it. This is why we self-film. This is why we put so much effort into doing the work before the season, along with during the season, because it is work. It's a lot of work. It's not just grab your bow and go hunting anymore. You have to worry about multiple camera angles, batteries dying. Do I have enough SD card space? Can I get this on film? Am I disciplined enough to get it on film, or film enough to not give up the camera and make sure that I'm getting everything on film? It is truly it's difficult. It becomes work. So I appreciate you guys all being on here. I am going to go with, let's see here. There was a comment up top that I liked a lot. Oh, where is it? Okay, so we have a winner. This is my favorite question. Jacob Bagwell, when self-filming and a shooter walks in, what is the best way to know he's going to be in frame of your camera when you're at full draw? We kind of answered that already, but in film school, they call it the camera thirds. So you got a third on the right, a third in the middle, a third on the left. if the deer is walking to the left, you want to keep that deer in your right thirds as he's walking. That means his butt is almost pushing him across the screen, if that makes sense. That way, when you stop, or when you stop the camera and grab your bow and stop him, he can take a couple steps and still be in frame. Same thing if he's walking left to right. You want to keep him in your left thirds. You want to keep his butt on the left side of your camera screen moving to the right, so that when you stop the camera, stop him, he can take a couple steps, you can draw your bow back and he'll still be in frame. That's the best way to do it. Also, don't get too aggressive and zooming in too much on the animal. I would say animal in the screen, leave 3 animal lengths ahead of him for a margin of error. Okay, so if the animal's this big in the screen, now I got 1, 2, 3 more animal lengths in this screen right here. He can take 3 or 4 more steps and still be in my viewfinder, and I can get a shot. Love the question. Absolutely love it. Jason Bagwell, please send us a DM with your info. You are getting a $50 Fourth Arrow gift card. Hopefully you can use it on something cool to film your own hunts with. We appreciate the comments and the questions, you guys. We are going to be doing more of these. We're probably going to be literally doing every one of our hunts from this past year. And I can show you some that we screwed up on, and I can show you more that we did that we were successful with. But we are going to absolutely be breaking down more of these hunts. We appreciate Fourth Arrow for allowing us to do this and partnering with us on this. We appreciate them for the equipment that they provide us with, because it makes us better self-filmers. It puts us in a position to allow us to do this with you all. So I'm extremely excited and grateful for them. Never zoom in too much. If anything, you can zoom in when you edit. Learn from the experience. Exactly. Never zoom in too much, especially with 4K. Now, when you're editing, you can crop that to 4 times the size of what it was and still get the same resolution. So just remember that when you're shooting in 4K, and if you're looking for a camera to be your main camera, that might be something to think about, because if you're shooting in 4K, you can crop zoom that to 4 times what that image was, and it will still have the same resolution. So you guys, thank you so much. Go to fourtharrowcameraarms.com to check out any gear. If you have any other questions, hit us up on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you're at. Hit us up. We are more than happy to answer any questions. We want to help out. We want to help. That's why we're doing this. So we appreciate y'all's time. You guys have a fantastic night. Who was the winner again? What did I say? Jason? Who? Trying to find my winner. Jacob Bagwell. Jacob, please DM us your address, or just DM us regardless. We'll get in touch with you. Congratulations on winning the $50 card. Thank you all for being here with us today. We will be back mighty soon. Y'all have a fantastic day, and we will see y'all very, very soon. Love you guys. Peace.